All right, back here on Inside Wrestling Radio, and on the telephone today with us we have Jessie Belle Smothers, and during the break there, Jessie's dog was giving her a fit, so we may hear, what's his name, Charlie?
Yeah, his name's Charlie.
That's hilarious. So is my co-host's name. You said you had a dog named Charlie. I was going to tell you, yeah, so do I, and he's sitting right here behind me.
That's funny.
But Jessie Belle Smothers on the telephone with us, of course, the daughter of Tracy Smothers, and we were talking about her early career and how she found her dad and how she got into the business and all that stuff. In 2005, Jessie, you started training to be a manager, and you did that, I guess, for 3 years before you decided to get into the ring?
You know, I still love to manage. It's fun. You know, you get to interact with the crowd, and it's a good time. I like to manage. I love to be in the ring. I love to, just perform and entertain people. So I like all ends of it. I love wrestling, absolutely everything about it, and anything that I can do in it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have a deep. Do you think that came? I mean, it's got to be in the blood, right? It's got to be.
That's what they say, and that's what Dad always says. He's like, it's like a cancer. As soon as you get into it, you just can't break away from it. He was like, it's in your blood.
That absolutely is. Like the mafia. Every time you think you're trying to get out, they pull you right back in, right?
Oh yeah, it's the worst addiction there is. You can't. You can't get off of it.
Absolutely. Before we go any further here, Jessie, tell me about your Facebook page and tell us about Wrestle Rock really quickly.
Okay, Wrestle Rock is in Freeport, Illinois. It's for SCW. It's going to be awesome. It's at the Rock Hollow Country Club. There's a meet and greet that starts at 3. It's going to have myself, my dad, Wild-Eyed Southern Boy Tracy Smothers, my man, Ryan House, Skid Marks from WWE's Tough Enough, Dean by Bill DeMott, Mickey Knuckles. Me and Mickey Knuckles are actually in a Falls Count Anywhere match. So, I mean, this is pretty much one of the toughest matches I've ever been in. So if you are a bell ringer, you definitely want to go out and see this show. Very
cool. So it looks like you guys are going to have a packed show there. I also noticed that Rosie from the formerly of the WWE is also on that card. So you guys are going to have a big card. How big is that venue? Do you know? Have you been there before?
I've been there before. They're having it outside this time.
Oh, good.
I think there's been about at least a couple hundred people there each time that I've been there. And now that it's going to be outside, there's even more room. I mean, they were packed. I mean, they had to have been turning people away.
Very cool.
The other 2 shows that I've done. So,
gotcha.
I mean, it's going to be a good show.
Well, good. I hope you guys draw really well. Who's promoting that, Jessie?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say, because they're kind of TV.
Okay, I got you. I understand. What organization is it?
Yeah, it's Frontier Championship Wrestling. They are affiliated with NWA.
Okay.
They're NWA Frontier.
Okay, FCW. I got you. Good. Well, I hope you guys really pack that thing out tomorrow there in Freeport. You mentioned you're dating Ryan.
Freeport, Illinois. I'm super excited. Meet and greet at 3 o'clock. It's going to be awesome.
Very cool. And you mentioned there that you are dating Ryan Howe, of course, from this year's Tough Enough, and you guys recently got engaged, yes?
Yeah, we did. We did on my birthday. It was
awesome. Congratulations.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool. How'd you meet him?
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Now this is the story. Okay. All right. Let's start off with as you know, my ex was a wrestler. Mm-hmm. My ex-husband, when we got divorced, I was like, I will absolutely never date another wrestler. I won't speak to them outside of the wrestling shows,
Famous last words.
This is a personal note. I was never going to date another wrestler. It just did not work. I had a very poor vision portrayal of men in the business, which
sure.
May or may not be wrong, may not be a good thing to say, but it was for me to date, it was not something that I was ever going to do.
Right.
So, me and Dad had been wrestling at Coliseum Championship Wrestling in Evansville, Indiana, and I happened one day when we showed up for the show, Ryan was there. He was wrestling his Diamond Steel, and the promoter had put him in an angle with Dad. So Dad was actually the one that really took the liking to him first, because I was just like, hello, how are you? Do our business, go about the match, whatever, and see you next week. That was it. But Dad actually got to know him a little bit better and talked to him and stuff like that. So Ryan was supposed to be there for one show. Well, Dad, after talking to him for a little while, was like, I like this kid. He was like, I like you. Can you come back next weekend? Ryan was like, yeah, well, I guess. And then Dad was like, he tells the promoter at the time, who I also can't name because, you know.
I got you.
Anyways, he tells him, I'm going to drop my belt to this kid. I like this kid. He was like, bring him in and work. I'm going to work an angle with him.
Yeah.
So the promoter talked to Ryan. Ryan was like, yeah, it's going to do. And that put me in it because, you know, I was valeting Dad. I was also wrestling on the card, but I was, you know, at ringside with Dad for these matches and involved in part. So after Wednesday night, which was when the show was, me and Dad would head on our loop and just head out of town to, you know, wherever we were going, and he'd just be talking, telling me stories about Smoky Mountain Wrestling, you know, or whatever. He'd be like, I like that Diamond Kid. What do you think about him? And I'd be like, no, he's one of the boys.
Yeah.
He's a worker.
Right.
You know, I'm not interested. And he'd be like, no, he's a good kid. He takes care of his mom and such and so forth. Because, like, Ryan, he never said this, you know, and you know, he hasn't made a big thing about it on Tough Enough or anything like that. But his mom she's paralyzed from the neck down, and he's taken care of her since he was, you know, young, like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his brother has I think a slight touch of autism.
Oh, jeez.
So, you know, he
had a rough
wasn't
road.
One of the boys, and I guess he had told Dad this. And, you know, Dad hadn't really told me. He would just be like, no, he's a good kid. He takes care of his mom. It's a good, you know, he's a good boy. He's like, you can get to him before the boys get to him.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And I'd just be like, no, it's not going to happen. He was like, so you don't like him? I'm like, no. And he was like, you don't think he's cute? I mean, he stayed on it. I'm telling you, for a month, 4 days a week, like, Dad was just on it. He really liked Ryan.
Yeah.
And finally, like, I was like, yeah, he's cute, Dad, okay? He's cute. He's like, oh, you think he's cute. Well, the next Wednesday, the very next show, we're going over, we're talking over the match and stuff like that, and Dad goes, okay, we shoot you off the headlock. Jesse, sweep the foot. And he was like, Ryan, you grab her, Iggy, you know, the hit,
right.
And then, you know, kiss spot. And then he was like, and then, you know, you'll spin around, Jesse jumps down, and I'm going to clothesline you with, you know, the flag.
Yeah.
And he just kept on going like he had never said anything. And I'm like, oh, my God! I can't believe he did it, because I have, you know, I do think Ryan, you know, I thought he was very, very cute.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't know if he was engaged, married, had a girlfriend, had a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Even liked women, you know. I didn't know anything about him, you know. It was crazy.
That's always something important to know. That's for sure.
And you know, and Dad just had it in his mind, I guess, from talking to him. I mean, and I've had, you know, my choice in men had been kind of terrible.
Yeah.
To say the least. So I mean, I guess Dad saw in him what I refused to give him the chance to have, you know, to be able to see in him, which is, I mean, he really is the nicest, sweetest, most humble, I mean, giving. He's an amazing person.
He seemed really nice, and of course I've never met him, but he seemed really nice. I watched this year's Tough Enough really closely because they came back so strong with it, and he came across really nice on television, and he also seemed like he was really like a sponge, man. It's like he wanted to learn everything they wanted to teach, and I was impressed with that. I think most of anything.
I mean, that's it. He loves, I mean, he has as much passion for this as I do, and he would absolutely do anything just to be given an opportunity. You know, he just wants to learn, and God, he's awesome. Like, I can't even begin to describe it, because I don't want y'all to think that, you know, I'm just saying that, but I mean, I cannot believe how good, just all around good of a person he is.
Yeah.
Like, he's much better person than I could ever be.
Jesse, listen, I so much appreciate you coming on the program. We are all the way out of time, and there was so much more I wanted to cover with you. We may have to have you back on again in the future, because there's a lot more I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to talk to you about, of course, training with Mickey Knuckles. I wanted to talk to you about, you know, what you got coming up in your future. I mean, have you got any look from the the top two feds or anything like that?
You just keep an eye out for the Smothers Twisted Daughters, me and Isabel.
You guys have a Facebook page together too, don't you? Tell us about your Facebook pages, and one more time about the big show tomorrow night, really quickly before we get out of here again.
Okay, the big show is Wrestle Rock. It's in Freeport, Illinois at the Rock Hollow Country Club. It's going to have me, Dad, Ryan Howe, Mickey Knuckles, Man Pondo, Peter B. Beautiful, a lot of other huge names. You should come out. The meet and greet starts at 3, and it's going to be awesome. Facebook, okay. Yeah, make sure you look up my Facebook. It's Jessie Belle Smothers, JESSIEBELLE, Smothers, as it sounds, you know.
Yeah.
check that out, and you can check out Smothers Daughters on Facebook as well, and that's me and my sister Isabel. We've been working a lot in OVW. You can look for us in Phoenix Ladies Wrestling. We're making the look some noise, and we're having a whole lot of fun while we're doing it, so you never know where the STDs are going to pop up.
Well, that is awesome, the STDs, huh? I just got
that. Twisted Daughters.
And best of luck to you. Best of luck to Ryan, and I wish nothing but the best for you guys. When's the big date, by the way? Have you said it yet?
I think it's going to be July 28th next year, which the first loop, like when we kind of like everything come together after the Kiss spot, like everything that led up to it. July 28th was kind of like when we decided we're going to be together.
Very cool.
It's me and you, and it has a special meaning to us.
So, Jessie, thank you so much, and again, best of luck to you. I hope everything happens great for you guys, and just continue success in everything that you do. Would you be interested in coming back on the program, because there is a lot more I want to talk to you about?
Absolutely. Y'all can call me anytime.
Very cool. All right, that's going to do it for the interview portion of the program. We'll be right back here to close out the show, coming up next on Inside Wrestling Radio.
Bye, y'all.